Hello, I am answering your October questions. These are really good questions. So the first one is, are peptides necessary when you're on the carnivore diet? I'm assuming this person means collagen peptides. There are other peptides that have really cool research behind them, but in general, collagen, you're going to be getting collagen whether or not you're supplementing a collagen powder. The best form of collagen, honestly, is going to be eating things like billy doe meats. They have a lot of bone-in cuts. Any of those cuts that need to be pressure cooked, where you end up with an amazing broth or a stock from it, it's cooking out those nutrients, the collagen, the gelatin. Anything with bones, tendon, cartilage is full of collagen. So if you're eating meat, you are getting collagen and you don't have to spend extra money on collagen peptides. Another thing to mention about collagen, it is not a complete protein. It should not be counted towards your protein goals. Collagen specifically is great for the hair, the nails, joints, but it is not a complete protein, meaning that it does not contain all of the amino acids. It doesn't have a full amino acid profile. Don't count it towards your protein goals. It's not going to feed your skeletal muscle, your lean mass. Someone said, I've heard about hemochromatosis on carnivore. Hemochromatosis is too much iron. So a couple things. Dairy inhibits the absorption of iron. Eggs also contain something called phosphoprotein, which binds to iron. It can actually reduce your absorption by 28%. So if you're doing dairy or eggs with your animal-based carnivore diet, you don't have a concern. If you are not doing dairy or eggs, then the microflora can also enhance your iron absorption, or it can actually change the way that you absorb iron. So basically, there's a very small chance, this is a very small chance that it would happen to anyone. And it's not something that I have seen myself. So my personal answer is you have nothing to worry about. And if you are very concerned about it, then consume some dairy or eggs. Can you heal acne and acne marks? Yes, definitely. Acne, 100%. Acne is, your skin is a reflection of what's going on the inside. So if you remove the inflammation and the bad gut bugs, your skin will heal, it will glow. Acne scars can take time. I will say that this way of eating is the best thing that you can do because you're getting that collagen, which is for your skin. I have stretch marks and they have improved. I also was rubbing, I was actually rubbing some bone broth on my stretch marks because it is rich in collagen. And they have faded a little bit. So my best advice is to be sure that you're eating enough protein. And if you have very, very deep, intense scars, you could also consider laser therapy, which does help to remove those scars. But I promise you're beautiful, even with them. How can you convince your spouse who eats the standard American diet to do carnivore with you? Don't put too much pressure on them. Lead by example. Tyler knew everything that I did since the moment I met him. It actually used to really turn him away from me. Like when we first met, he said to me once, he's like, I could never date you, I could never do the meat thing. And he was just always making comments, and then he came to one of my retreats and he was changed and he started looking at me differently, and that's when he decided to do it for himself. And so it has to be a personal decision. You can't convince anyone. They have to come to it in their own time. And you don't want to be convincing anyone. You want them to be convicted. You want them to actually take the time to ask themselves, do I have a reason to change? What is the quality of my life? Could it be improved? And so I would just encourage you to lead by example and don't overwhelm them. I also preached keto and carnivore to my family for years, and they never listened to me until I went through my own transformation and they saw it happen. And at that time, we weren't even in contact. And I didn't really say anything to them about what I was doing. But when we got back in touch and I healed and God restored that relationship, they came to me with all the questions. And my mom still regularly asks me, can you look at my labs? What should I eat? All of them. And so just give it time and allow the Lord to convict them, to lead them, pray for them. If you do that, lead by example, and also have fun with it. If you are drudging through your own nutrition protocol, no one's gonna want to do that. But I've had strangers come up to me in the gym at Planet Fitness and be like, you have so much energy. I see you in here all the time. You lift heavy, you're running. what do you eat? I literally had multiple strangers come up to me and ask that. So that's a good way to show people, is just live your life and focus on you. Migraines. Have I dealt with migraines? Me personally, no. I've not dealt with migraines. Headaches, yes. I used to get very bad tension headaches when I was around people, but migraines, I don't consider myself to be someone who has personal experience dealing with migraines. However, I have worked with multiple clients who struggle with migraines, and some of the keys are going to be getting the right nutrients and getting your electrolytes right, even for migraines. Angela Stanton is a really great person on migraines. She has a whole protocol. And then some nutrients / supplements that have been shown in research to benefit people with migraines: L-carnitine and coenzyme Q10. Magnesium also is awesome. Have I seen people cure Lyme disease and co-infections? Yes. I myself reversed Lyme disease. It's not just putting it in remission, it's reversing. And I've worked with a handful of clients to do this. Once you support your body at a systemic level and you remove the interference, and that includes the systemic level, that means your hormones, your central nervous system, your immune system. And so when you're supporting yourself like this, your detoxification pathways will start to work. And you can detox from all of these things. It can also be mold. It can also be heavy metal toxicity. I'm serious. God created us in a way that we can recover and reverse these things, but you have to support your body. There are going to be situations where you might use something, or I would implement something like oregano oil, depending on the situation. But most of it is done just through proper nutrition and lifestyle. So yes, I do see that a lot, and it's amazing. Could I explain how eating saturated fat helps you to shed body fat and push bad fat out of your body? Number one, it's going to be hard to be fat adapted if you're not eating enough dietary fat, unless you've already been fat adapted for a long time. I like to compare fat adaptation to riding a bike. The first time you do it, you never forget. You don't forget how to ride a bike. When you become fat adapted, your body will remember, oh yeah, I can use my own body fat for fuel. But the longer you do it, the better you are. So the first time you fall off the bike, you're going to get back on, and it's still going to be a little bit of a challenge. Same thing with fat adaptation. When you first become fat adapted, your body is still kind of like, yeah, but I was using glucose for fuel, and it's going to be teeter-tottering. So a really good way to make sure that you are burning fat is to be sure that you're getting enough dietary fat. By doing that, you're sending a signal to your body that, hey, I'm not giving you this sugar and carbs. This is not a fuel source, but I am giving you consistently plenty of this dietary fat. Your body is smart, and we are adaptive. And so when you remove a certain fuel and you provide enough of another fuel, your body will register that, and it will say, I'm gonna switch over to fat, because that would make sense right now with what you're giving me. So if you're holding back on that dietary fat, especially in the beginning, you could literally just still run on glucose through gluconeogenesis. Your liver would be converting protein to sugar. So that's why it's so important for people to get enough dietary fat. Another cool thing with the right types of fat, saturated fat, these are going to come from ruminant animals: butter, bone marrow, suet, fatty lamb from belly doe meats, beef, bison. That type of fat is oxidized by the body. It's used for fuel, whereas polyunsaturated fat is actually recycled into the lymphatic system and deposited into our fat cells for storage. So it's not an efficient fuel source, and this is why I don't eat pork or chicken regularly. If I am eating either of those, it's going to be a leaner cut, because I don't consume polyunsaturated fat. I don't feel good. I don't feel energized. But if you do, and it's what makes this sustainable for you, then stick with it. That's what I always tell people. If bacon is what makes this way of eating sustainable for you, that is 1,000,000 gazillion billion times better than eating lasagna every day. When you're eating this saturated fat from ruminant animals, it actually helps to push toxins out of your fat cells. And when you oxidize fat and you become fat adapted, you are going to start tapping into your own body fat for fuel. And when this happens, you will be releasing toxins. We store toxins in our fat cells, in our body fat. So when you can open them up and release them, then you will release toxins, and you will release fat, and you will oxidize that and use it for fuel. This will not happen unless you're fat adapted and you're eating enough saturated fat. You also need saturated fat to regenerate your liver. You need fat for liver health. So if you're talking about detox, you're gonna need that saturated fat.